Why don't you introduce yourself so that I know who I'm talking to?
Hey, I'm Nicola Mcleod. I'm a 27-year-old musician from Pretoria.
Oh, Nicola Mcleod. Nicola, one of the questions that's been bothering me, for instance, is a question of finding it. Was there ever a time in your life where you felt that you found something meaningful?
Yes, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I saw Britney Spears on television and I told my mom I want to become an actress and a singer.
4 years old.
Yes.
You have a memory that goes back to 4 years old.
That is my earliest memory,
Oh
yes.
man, sometimes things happen to me at 6 years old. I can't even remember what happened.
Yeah, no, same.
It
I
must
can
have been
remember.
truly meaningful.
Yes, it was. I must say, I've never changed my mind about what I want to do for a living.
It's always been that discovery, and you're like, this is
It's
it.
always been
Nothing else
music.
matters.
Yeah, it's always been music. It's always been performing, acting. I tried the TV acting thing. It hasn't blown up like the
Yeah,
music has. It's easier also to practice music and
yeah,
more fun to practice music. But I've done some TV things, but my
yeah.
heart lays in
In
music.
music.
But that took maybe like 20 years to figure out actually.
Precisely, I was about to say that we typically, when we were growing up, every time anyone ever mentioned music, we kind of looked at it as something that cannot be sustainable, right? And I'm sure that along the way to your path of finding it,
Yes.
thankfully you found it quite early. There must have been some difficult times, right, where
Yes.
you had to either motivate yourself or you had to overcome some challenges along the pathway. What were those, and how did you overcome them?
It's like you said, it's a way to find. It's how are you gonna make it sustainable? How are you gonna make being a musician sustainable?
Yeah.
And that's what took me a long time to figure out. Even though I knew what I wanted to do, even though,
Ah,
because sometimes you get musicians who get better opportunities. Maybe they have financial support,
yeah.
to grow faster in the industry as well, which makes a big difference actually. But for me, it was about, I bought a car cash at the age of 24.
Yeah.
And so at least I could drive around. Then I taught myself to play guitar because I've been singing my
Ah,
whole life.
self-taught. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I've
All
been
right.
singing my whole life, but I wanted to start making
It's an
money.
additional skill. Yeah, you
Yes.
added an additional skill. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to make money performing at markets and
Yeah.
things like that. So I started learning guitar, and I picked it up quite fast, and it worked out for me. But also, it's because I've been doing dancing and acting and singing my whole life. So I feel like
Yeah.
it maybe came a bit more naturally, and I had that
Yeah.
commitment. I had that
Yeah.
commitment. So then from there on, I had to buy my own sound system. It took a few years. I keep
Yeah.
saving up. It keeps costing me money. It's like a month to month thing. Next month, I'm buying this. Next month, I'm buying
Not
that.
to mention that with all those investments in those hardware, there's also people to run this stuff, right? Because you've got to trust that whoever you have hired to assist you assemble the kit that you have bought is the
Yes.
right type of guy, right? So there's a lot of people management skills that goes with that, right?
A lot, yeah. I kind of have to be my own manager,
Yeah.
my own booking agent, my own promoter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a lot of work. You got to be kind of multi-talented and learn to use social media well because that's working in your favor as a
100%,
musician. Yeah.
100%. You're hungry. Let's keep looking while I. Oh, does this look good? All right. Something hot?
Order the
Is
chicken
is that not
strips.
going to affect your performance? Doesn't it have too much spices? I mean, are you sure?
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't usually eat food before I sing, but I
Ah.
was just coming from music lessons because I have my own music school, aka
Oh.
paying bills.
Okay. What's the name of the
So
music school?
it's called Vocals by Nicola.
Vocals by Nicola. Vocals
Yes,
by Nicola,
yes,
ladies and
yes.
gentlemen.
And I
Okay.
drive to people's houses and teach them in their house in the
Wow.
comfort of their own home. But that pays my bills,
Okay.
So
Okay.
I just came from there. I was
Yeah,
like
you haven't.
non-stop class after class.
Yeah,
I haven't eaten. And the thing is, if I do 2 sets, 2 hours of music,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might end up feeling
Yeah. You know
without
what?
energy after the
But
show.
but that's so phenomenal because now it actually expands on what I had originally thought we would be talking about, because another component of finding it is along finding what you wanted to do, which is to pretty much do what Britney Spears was doing. Along the way, you found that you could be a teacher. That's
Yes.
also something that we probably didn't think could be connected to a performer. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
isn't
what
it
a lot
funny
of
how?
A lot of musicians do that because that's how you are a sustainable musician. You know, you end up teaching part time.
Okay.
Some still have full time jobs, part time jobs. But to me, I keep to the music. I teach music. I actually organize live events at places like
Oh man.
Bokov Bar. I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
for
it.
for yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. With my partner, we organize events there, and I actually do the bookings for Irene Mall and Southhouse
It's
Mall.
funny how all these
So
things work together.
put your hands in all the porridge.
Say no more. Say no more. Order what you've got to order, and while they're making it, I got one more questions for you. There's a component of having fun, right? Especially when you found something that you love, it kind of never feels like work. But can you say something around the value of hard work? Um, and do you remember a time where you saw results that came as a result of working hard?
Yes, so I kind of used fuel. My fuel was if someone told me I couldn't do something.
It's like a dare. You're like,
Yeah,
you
okay.
think I can't do it?
Watch me. So yeah, so that's I had a lot of I was kind of used to in school not being the first one picked, and that worked to my favor because when I grew older, that became a norm for me.
Yeah.
I was people could tell me no, and that
Yeah.
was okay, and I kept fighting after. And the thing is, for me, I feel like everyone has something that they have self-worth about, and I feel like this type of self-worth can't be bought. This where I've built up this talent over the years. To be able to sing, it's like that's the self-worth that I've taught myself
Within yourself. So the
within
value that
myself.
you've been able to obtain inside of you and who you are is the fuel that says, you know what? It doesn't matter what you think of me or whether I'm incapable or not. Even if you've got favorites, I've got
Yes.
value within myself that I will continue basically conquering.
And
Yeah.
it is hard because a lot of people want to tell you you're not good enough. A lot of people have a lot of criticism
Opinions and
about
criticism.
a lot, especially when you get up on stage. A lot of
Especially
people
when there's a favorite. There's always like a favorite who
always.
everyone is kind of like, yeah, this is the
Yeah.
one. And
There's
then
definitely
they're
a
like,
lot of
oh, no, not Nicola. Don't tell me
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of politics under the musicians in Pretoria as well.
Oh,
So
yeah, okay.
yeah, with booking agents and
That's interesting.
favorites and different people, and so that it's hard to not get affected by it because it's not just a job, it's my whole heart, it's my whole soul. So you try to stay professional but also be emotional, and then separate work and play. It's hard to get the balance because you do what you love, but you also have to do a job. You have to perform, you have to entertain. So you can't just sing sad songs, or the songs that you want to sing.
Tell me about
So
it.
there's a balance between having fun and also doing the job well.
Sure. So then, as you're speaking here, man, mind is racing, Nicola, because you mentioned something about, because this is you, right? Sometimes when you reject your gift, it almost feels like they're rejecting you, your
Yeah.
person, right? Because your gift and you is inseparable. Because you don't just, else could be like a mechanic and they'll be like, we don't like your job, you're just a mechanic. But being a musician, it's like it's you. This is
Heart and
you.
soul.
Yeah. So how do you deal with that rejection? Because sometimes someone might be lightly saying that, oh yeah, we don't want Nicola because of maybe we don't like her tone or whatever. But it feels personal. Not take it personally.
Yes, it becomes, you get used to it. I mean, like, I feel like, how do celebrities do it when they say, oh, she looks fat or whatever, like, you get used to it, I feel like. Because the thing is, it's hard because you have to wake up and tell yourself, I am good enough. I have to keep fighting. Sometimes you feel really down. Sometimes you feel like you're on top of the world, and you're like, I've got gigs, I'm busy, I'm making money, like opportunities coming, and sometimes it's quiet, and you got to save up money, and you've got to think what's the next
In
step and
between,
how to
yeah.
stay fresh and how to keep crafting your skills. So it's a constant. It's never like just get home and rest. It's like Monday to Sunday thing.
exactly.
But you get used to the scrutiny. You just make it work for you.
And you also, I think it's quite miraculous. In some instances, it almost feels like you were built for it. You are able to take the punches and roll with them. It certainly comes across that way because that understanding tells me that you understand that this is actually more of your purpose and your function more than anything else. So there's never a time where your job is not required because you were built for this.
I
Nicola.
really hope so. I hope that I will do it till the day I die.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that this is not what I'm supposed to do, or I have no doubt that this is what I'm supposed to do, because I've never wanted to do anything else.
Absolutely. On that note, a shot or might come across this on the socials and is wondering how they can go about finding it, whatever that may be for them. Any final words? I know that your skill set and your experience is quite particular, but any parting shot, perhaps along the line, you've seen others in different types of jobs or skill sets or industries. But what can you say?
I would say, don't rely on other people to fulfill you. Rely on yourself. Focus on what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, that's what's gonna be left. That's what's gonna be left for you. So focus on that. Focus on what you love. That's your worth. No one can give it to you. That can't be bought. It's something you build yourself. At _Nicola Mcleod _.